Hello and welcome back to Code with Ibrah once again, and in this video I am going to be teaching you guys on how to use transitions in CSS. Okay, so transition is a way of making creating an effect that makes makes the text or whatever element you want to apply it to, it makes it really good and really nice. So let us start with a demonstration in this video. Okay, so let me walk you through to the project setup. We now have our index and then the style also here. So the style is the CSS, and we have linked it always in the other line 7 of the HTML. This is actually the CSS file. Okay, so I'll come here and I'll create a button and I'll call it click me. All right, let me actually say hover me. All right, let me call it hover me, and I'll give it a class called btn. All right, let us go to the browser and refresh. Now we have our button here. So this is the hover. All right, this is the hover me. The button is now sitting there. So I have to come to the CSS and start with the style, and this is btn, and let me start the button. Okay, so I'll give it a padding of 10 pixels to the top and bottom and left and right of 25 pixels. I'll give it a background of let's make it black, and then also let's give it a border of 1 pixels solid black. Okay, and then let's give it also the text color of white, since the background is going to be let's give it white, so WHITE. So we now come to look at the difference, and this is what now we have in the browser. All right, why don't we just give it a border radius of 4 pixels so that it will look good, so that it actually look very good. All right, so it's saying hover me, and when we say hover, it's simply the process of moving the mouse pointer over an element. All right, so we are going to look at how transitions here, how they work with hovering. So we come here and then I will specify the hover action, so btn :hover, and then I will say that okay, when we hover, we want the background now to turn to a gray, and we also want the color, okay, actually the color to be black. All right, now look at what now we have. When we put the mouse on, you see now it has changed. Okay, but one thing I want you to take notice of, you can see that now things are changing very fast. When I move it on, then it change. When I take it out, then it also comes back to the default styling, which is black, and the process is happening really quickly. Okay, it's happening really quickly. So transition will help us to slow this process down. Okay, slow the process down. The process of changing from background black to gray and then coming back will be slow, so that now the users can have the feel of the process. Okay, so to start with it, we have to go to the main button, not the hovering, not the one that when we hover it will show, not the effect that will create when we hover, but this actual one. So we come and we specify transition. Okay, the transition has so many properties. We can apply the transition only to the colors. We can apply the transition only to the background changes. We can apply the transition to any property that you want. All right, so when you specify, or it means we are applying the property, the transition to all the property of the element. Okay, there are so many properties that is making up the button. Right, we have pattern, we have background, we have border, we have color, we have border radius. Okay, so transition, what now it takes is, it takes the first one is going to be the property. All right, the first one is going to be property, and the second one is going to be the timing, right? The timing, and then the last one is going to be the effect, right? It is going to be the effect. So with this button, we can say that we want the property to be applying to the padding, but that's one is not going to be it is not going to be making much of a sense because the padding is not really changing, so that one will not work. We can apply it to the background because we know that we are changing the background to gray when we hover. So the process of changing from black to gray will have some slow timing function and some not animation, but it will be slow. It will not be much. It will not be faster. All right. And then we can also apply it to the color. But you know something, I like to apply my transition to all the elements since that makes it really good. So at this particular portion, I'm going to choose all right, and then the timing is simply, maybe you want it to be 2 seconds, 5 seconds, or 79,000 seconds. But in this tutorial, I am for the first time, I'm going to choose 0.6 seconds. So 0.6, which is almost like 0.6 seconds. All right, and the effect, we have so many effects. Let me choose ease. We have ease in, ease in, out. We also have linear. They all have a way of affecting the element. All right, so in your time, try and experiment them one by one, but basically it doesn't make any much difference. It just change. There are some that start slow and then end fast, or start fast and end slow, talking of the ease in and ease in out. All right, so let me just choose ease for the transition. Okay, so before, this is how now it looked like. Let me refresh, and now you see, are you with me? You see now the process is it's not moving faster. It's not like how it was. Okay, so actually let us now come back and change it from 0.6 to 0.9. So now it is going to be 0.9 seconds. Let's refresh, and now look at what happens. Very good, yes. Okay, so the hover is now slower as compared to how it was initially. It's not really faster, it's really slow. What if we set it to 3 seconds? As for 3 seconds, that would be very much amazing. So we refresh and look at it. Very good. We remove, and the process is much slower. Okay, so that's all about the transition. What if now we want the transition to happen only to the background? So we can specify the background here, and when we set the background, that means only the background is going to get the transition. All right, so let's come here, refresh, and then hover. You see, as for the text is happening, going faster. The text is faster, right? But the transition is happening only to the background. See, only the background is changing slowly, but the text, that one is not being affected by the transition. Okay, we can also give the property to the color. So we specify here color. When we specify color and we refresh, look at what happens. So too, see, the background is faster, but the color will take time to change. All right, and when we take the cursor off the button, you see that it takes time for the color to come back to the white. But when we do the hovering out and in, as for the background, it doesn't get affected, but only the color is affected. All right, so that is how it is. If you want to apply it to a particular property, you do it, but I like to use the or so that the element move together. When they move together, everything seems uniform. Okay, it seems uniform. All right, but in a normal circumstance, I like to use 0.3 for my distance. And we also have so many timing functions, which is ease. We have ease in, out. Okay, so ease in, out is also just like the other one, but this one, it looks different than the others, right? So basically, there are so many. You can also have linear gradients. Okay, you can also have linear transitions. All right, but you can see they are different. This is not like the first one. Okay, so actually you can play around with them in your own free time, and this is all about transitions. But without the hover, look at it, without the hover like this, Okay, refresh and put your mouse, you are not going to see anything. Okay, so the transition works with hover, mostly works with hovering. All right, so if you don't have any hovering, your transitions are not going to work. All right, and so this is all about it. When we bring back the hovering effect and we refresh, you can see that now everything is working. Okay, so basically this is something I want to teach you about transitions in CSS, and kindly subscribe, comment, and then like the video. Try and share with your friends. If you have not joined our Telegram channel, kindly try and join so that you can help yourself to code, because that's where we put practicals and group of developers come together to study, to learn. Okay, and if you are facing some challenge in your code too, there are some gurus around who can help you fix it. And of course, if you can't get anyone, I'm available always online, so you can chat me up and we can fix things. Thank you so much for your time. Subscribe, share, like, and comment. See you also in the next lecture. Thank you.